He tried to kick her out of training, then discovered why the Pentagon fears her name. The rain had already covered most of Camp Garrison before dawn, turning the dirt trails into streams of mud. Recruits stood in formation, shivering, blinking sleet from their eyes, boots sinking slightly into the wet ground. It was the first day of advanced tactical training, a program so intense that even seasoned soldiers dreaded it. Only the strongest made it past the first week. Staff Sergeant Cole Maddox stepped into the field with the kind of presence that made conversations die instantly. His glare could cut through steel. 22 years in the Army had carved hard lines on his face and turned his voice into something gravelly and commanding. He scanned the lineup of recruits with slow, deliberate eyes. Then his gaze stopped. Third row. Fourth from the left. A tiny woman, barely reaching the shoulder of the recruit next to her, stood perfectly still, her posture crisp, her chin lifted, her expression unreadable beneath the brim of her cap. She looked too small, too soft, too quiet to survive what was coming. Her name tag read, Rivers. Cole frowned. This must be a joke, he muttered under his breath. He marched directly up to her. You. Step forward. She obeyed instantly, boots squelching in the mud. What's your height? He asked, circling her like she was a puzzle he couldn't quite solve. 5'2". Staff Sergeant. And your weight? 118 pounds. Cole smirked. You're a breeze in combat gear. The other recruits tried not to react, though a few exchanged quick glances. Everyone knew Maddox hated weakness, or anything that looked like weakness. What makes you think you belong in my program? He asked bluntly. This is not a fitness class. This isn't some college challenge. This is the Pentagon's most demanding training regimen. People break here. Strong men collapse here. Why are you here? Rivers didn't flinch. Her calm unsettled him. To finish what I started, Staff Sergeant. Her voice was steady, quiet but firm. Cole snorted. We'll see. He turned away, raising his voice for everyone to hear. If any of you slow down, if any of you fall behind, if any of you waste my time, I'll personally escort you off this base. Understood? Yes, Staff Sergeant. They roared. Training began, and within minutes the recruits struggled. Weighted runs through deep mud. Log carries on uneven terrain. Crawling under wire while rainwater soaked their uniforms. Obstacle climbs slick with wetness. One by one, even the strongest recruits groaned under the pressure. Except Rivers. She didn't dominate the way bigger recruits did. She didn't show off. She didn't breathe hard or complain. She simply kept moving, efficient and silent, pushing through every challenge with a kind of quiet intensity. Cole noticed. He hated that he noticed. By noon, one recruit had twisted an ankle, two were vomiting, and another was about to pass out. Cole blew his whistle. Hydrate. You've got 90 seconds. Rivers finished her water quickly, then knelt to tighten the ankle wraps of the recruit next to her who was struggling to breathe. She didn't say much. She didn't lecture him. She simply helped, quickly and expertly, as if she'd done it 100 times before. Cole walked up behind her. Something to confess, Rivers? You a medic or something? No, Staff Sergeant. Then why are you treating him like he's your responsibility? She stood up, meeting his eyes. Because he's on my team. He didn't like that answer. It was too honest. Too simple. Too human. By evening, he had made up his mind. She was a risk. A liability. A distraction to others. He was going to kick her out. The next morning, he called Rivers into the small briefing room adjacent to the training yard. Rain pattered lightly against the roof, adding a rhythm to the heavy silence between them. You don't belong here, Cole said without looking up from his clipboard. I've evaluated your performance, and while you're technically passing, you're barely scraping by on strength drills. And this program requires more than effort. It requires dominance. Rivers stood perfectly still. If I sign this, he continued, tapping a dismissal form, you'll be removed from the program by noon. No reaction. No fear. Just that same, unnervingly steady calm. Do you have anything to say for yourself? He snapped. She hesitated for a moment, then reached into her pocket and placed a small black card on the table. It had no emblem, no rank, just a simple code printed in silver. Cole frowned. What is this supposed to be? A hold authorization, she said quietly. From the Pentagon. Cole froze. No recruit ever walked in with Pentagon authorization. It was unheard of. Where did you get this? He demanded. It was issued to me before I arrived. Why? Rivers didn't blink. Because I was told that if anyone tries to remove me from training, I am to present that card. Cole's jaw clenched. Why would the Pentagon care about you? Her voice lowered, steady but soft, as though she were saying something she had spent years holding inside. Because they're afraid of what happens if I fail. Cole stared at her, suddenly aware that he was no longer speaking to a simple recruit. He was speaking to someone with a story. And he had no idea what that story was. He sat down slowly, an uncomfortable chill crawling up his spine. Explain, he said. Rivers nodded once, an acknowledgement, not submission. 2 years ago, I was deployed overseas with a joint NATO task force, she began. We were assigned to monitor an insurgent network in the mountains. A controlled reconnaissance mission. Nothing dramatic. Her eyes dropped slightly, as though remembering the weight of something unbearable. But intelligence failed. We walked into an ambush. 12 of us. Highly trained. A pause. 11 didn't come back. Cole swallowed. And you? He asked softly. I survived, she whispered. For 6 days. Alone. Injured. Hunted. Cole felt the air thicken. What happened after? I completed the mission. He stared at her. Completed what mission? Your team was gone. The operation was still achievable. Rivers' voice didn't tremble. I eliminated the insurgent commander responsible for the ambush. Retrieved the intel files. Signaled extraction. And held off 3 waves of fighters until rescue arrived. Cole's breath caught. She continued quietly, the Pentagon classified everything. They didn't want it public. They didn't want the world to know a mission that failed on paper only succeeded because of one soldier. Me. He blinked. Why would they fear your name? Rivers looked directly into his eyes then, really looked. It was the gaze of someone who had seen things no one should see, someone who carried survival like a scar across the soul. Because they trained me to be unbreakable, she said. And when the world learns what that truly costs, they'll question who created me. Silence filled the room. A heavy, profound, suffocating silence. Cole leaned back slowly. The edges of the dismissal form blurred in his vision. All this time, he had mistaken stillness for fragility. Quiet for weakness. Calm for lack of strength. But now he understood. He was standing in front of someone forged in fire so deep that most people wouldn't make it through a single day of what she had survived. He cleared his throat. Rivers, why are you here? Why put yourself through training again? Her answer was so simple, and so heartbreaking, that he felt it down to his bones. To learn how to lead, she whispered. My team died because intelligence failed, but I failed too. I wasn't strong enough, fast enough, aware enough to save them. I survived because I had to. But I'm here because I need to make sure I never lose another team. Cole exhaled shakily. He no longer saw a recruit. He saw a soldier with fire in her veins. A soldier with purpose. A soldier who had already lived through hell, and walked out carrying the mission on her shoulders. He stood up, straightened his posture, and extended his hand, not as a superior officer, but as a man who understood weight, grief, and resilience. You're not going anywhere, he said. Not now. Not ever. Rivers didn't smile. She simply nodded once. The kind of nod that said thank you for seeing me. When she walked back into the training yard, the other recruits glanced over, expecting to see defeat in her eyes. Instead, she moved with a steadiness that made them stand a little straighter. And for the first time, Staff Sergeant Cole Maddox watched her not with doubt, but with respect. Because now he knew. The Pentagon didn't fear her name because she was dangerous. They feared it because she was unstoppable. If my work inspires you even a little, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I truly love knowing that.